Students, today I'm going to show you a few things that will help you be successful with completing your pot after you're able to make one on the wheel for your first time. Several of you were able to make it on Friday. So now it is drying to leather hard and you're going to learn how to trim it, okay? So I am going to throw this little pot and I'm going to clean up the bottom. I think this is really important. I need to teach you how to clean up the bottom. A few of you took yours off before you cleaned the bottom the other day. I couldn't catch you in time. So I want to make sure you understand how to do that. That it will help your trimming tremendously, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just throw this one real quickly, okay? Then I'll show you what to do with it. And then I threw one yesterday. I want to show you how to trim it because some of you are going to do that when you come back to class. Okay, so I've got this centered already. I have been coning a couple times. I just want you to understand the importance of coning. Coning makes your clay, it mixes it well. It mixes the water in there. It also, it just makes it softer and smoother. If you can get your clay to move like butter, and you're able to manipulate it and do what you want with it, you can throw, okay? Those of you that aren't coning and you're letting your clay get too dry, you're gonna have a difficult time. You'll never be able to throw a pot on a wheel, okay? So remember, I'm doing some things right now. Since I am right-handed, let me give you a trick, a little pointer. Since I am right-handed, I'm lodging my right elbow in, okay? I'm also making it's easier if you're right-handed to make the wheel turn counterclockwise. So right now it's counterclockwise because watch guys, it's going like this. It's going like this in my hand. It's going shoo, like that, okay? You don't want it to go the other way because the other way I've seen students actually accidentally gouge their fingers. So you need to go that way. If you're a lefty, you're doing the opposite and the wheel should be going this way, okay? So just make sure you know that. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly, this is not the best pot in the world because all I'm doing, I'm not gonna try to make it perfect. All I'm doing is just trying to open it for you. It's perfectly centered right now, so it's ready. So I'm just gonna rest my arm right here on my leg. Your hand should not be moving. And you see what I do? I always do this. I always take my other pointer finger and I always help push it down. I'm just gonna go all the way down to the middle and then I know I'm not going any farther. I can kind of feel it. You'll learn to feel. Right now it's tugging. What do we do when it tugs? Well, we add water, right? So I'm gonna add water real quick. Now I'm gonna keep my finger there and I'm gonna pull towards me. You see what's happening? I'm opening my pot. I'm pulling. And that's pretty good. I don't want to go too far. And I'm gonna slowly lift up. Remember, I think I've said this a few times, so I want to reiterate, slow movements when you're on the wheel, okay? So now I'm gonna pull my walls up. So I'm going to lodge, like really just take your elbows and stick them to your sides. Pretend like there's super glue stuck to them. And then I'm gonna take my thumbs, they're touching, because I need stability when I pull up. Okay, I can't be pulling up like this. I don't know what I'm doing when my arms are frailing. So you want to make sure you have water on your rim, okay? And then I'm going to tuck my elbows and I'm just going to take these two fingers and I'm pinching them together, okay? So I'm going to go straight up. I'm actually using my ring fingers on both sides too, a little bit. You can kind of, everybody does it a little bit different, but did you see how that pulled it up? And then I'm just going to clean off the rim. See that excess clay? Just get rid of it, keep it up. Keep it flat on the top. It just is a little bit better. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing again. Right now, I'm taking all these fingers like this and I'm, pulling straight up. So my elbows are tucked and your head is right over the top. I'm right over the top of this pot. I'm looking down right in the center of it. Okay, and I'm just pulling straight up to my nose, basically. I'm pulling right here. Okay, so there's another pull. Looks like I've got a little bit of water inside here, so I'm just gonna soak it up with my sponge, okay? You don't wanna leave water. If you leave water in there, you're gonna have a huge crack the next day. So that's definitely not what you wanna do. Okay, not the best pot in the world, but that's okay. So the next thing I'm gonna do is clean off the top, okay? You don't wanna take it off right now. Really don't, guys. This will help your trimming tremendously. So just a real slow speed, and I'm just gonna take my rib tool, and I'm gonna take it and kind of cut in. See, I'm cutting into the bottom. See how much I took off? That's all excess that I do not want to trim the next day, okay? And then see this edge right there? So then take your tool and use this curvature. That's why they make them curvy, so that you can use it for all kinds of different things. So I'm just gonna clean that up real carefully. Now, what my elbows are lodged. Every time I work on this piece of clay, you're gonna lodge your elbows, because if you don't, guys, think about it. If you don't and you're trying to do it like this, you have no stability. Your arms are gonna be moving all over the place, and your poor little pot is just gonna get ruined, okay? So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. Now, let me show you. Sorry, I'm gonna have to move for a second. There's supposed to be little wire tools hanging, but somebody didn't replace the wire tool. So anyway, gotta grab one. So now what you're gonna do is take some water, and you're gonna put water on the back side of your bat. And then quickly you're gonna pull this water underneath your pot. So push the wire tool all the way down to the bottom and pull. That water is gonna make it so that you can slide your pot around. See, it's just floating on the water, okay? Then I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna put it on top of my hand. There's my pot, okay? Now I'm gonna go put it on my rubber mat in my cabinet, and I'm gonna leave it there, okay? Lightly covered until the next time I come to class, and then I'm gonna trim it, okay? So I'm gonna go put this, I'm just gonna put that there. I trimmed, let's see, sorry, I didn't trim. I made a pot, so let me just show you here. I made a pot the other day, yesterday, and it is in plastic right now, so let me show you. Let me show you. I'm gonna put it, it's been sitting on this bat waiting for me to trim it. So I'm just gonna set it on here for you to see, and then I'm gonna uncover it. I kind of covered it good last night. I just didn't wanna make it real. I didn't want it to get real dry, but it's leather hard right now, okay? So it's been sitting out a while. So I'm gonna turn it upside down very gently. And now what I have to do now, guys, is this. Lowest speed possible. Do you remember that centering that I taught you? That's what you're gonna do here. I just put my finger out and I just made a mark right there. So that tells me that this needs to go over. Like that, okay? And then I'm gonna do it again. Yep, see, I'm off, right? See it? Coming towards my finger right there, it's making a little gouge in the side of the pot. Don't worry, it's okay. You can fix those gouges easily, okay? It's not a big deal. I know some of you are thinking, oh my gosh, Mrs. Alt, you're ruining your pot. No, I'm not. I'm good. So I'm gonna just do it again. Yep, I'm gouging right there still a little bit. I don't know if you can see it. So I'm still not centered. I'm scooting it ever so slightly, just a tiny, tiny bits at a time, guys, okay? Really don't need much. Ooh, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm still not quite. So I'm gonna, that was like a teeny millimeter right there, okay? Let me do it again. Ooh, I'm good. I'm perfect, okay? So now what I need to do is get some fresh plastic clay. So what I'm doing is holding the top of this pot. The last thing I want, you guys, is for this pot to move, right? It's perfectly centered. Don't let it move, okay? So So I'm gonna take, this is plastic clay. I'm gonna take my hand and just hold the pot very gently, and I'm gonna take this ball of clay and I'm gonna push, don't push against your pot or you'll collapse it. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna press it straight down to the bat like this, okay? And then I'm gonna do the same thing to another piece. Over here, hold your pot straight down. Don't press against your pot. Okay, and then the same thing over here. Straight down. Just gonna create this little suction cup around here. And then here. There's one other thing that I didn't do on this pot, and I should have, because sometimes I do it, I just forgot. But you can take a sponge and wipe down the top of the rim of your pot before you put it upside down. That helps with the suction too, okay? So basically, guys, watch. Okay, I'm gonna go very slowly. You really don't need to go fast when you are trimming. So I have to trim, what I wanna do is trim a cute little area right here, okay? I'm gonna trim a footing, and then I might make a little decoration, I might not. Okay, so these are just some that I have done in the past. So here's one. You can see a nice, really simple footing you could do, and then I just signed it. I don't know if you can see it, but I just signed it on the bottom there. Here's another one with a little bit more decoration. Sometimes I'll carve in a cute little flower or something and put my initials in there. And then here's another one with a different kind of footing. So more like a little vase, but here's a little, you know. So see how nice and clean that looks? That's what I want to teach you, okay? So you need rib tools, okay? That's the first thing you need, is some rib tools. And ribbon tools, I meant to say. Here's 3 different kinds, okay? So let's just keep the wheel going at about this, pretty slow speed, really. And the first thing I want to do is I want to take, you can pat it like this. If it sounds kind of like a drum, it's pretty thick, okay? You will learn thickness as you go. You might or might not destroy this first pot. That's okay. If you do, it's no big deal. It's part of learning. But the first thing I want to do is just I always take my ribbon tool in one hand and I just guide it with the other hand. Both of my elbows are lodged into my side. And I'm just going to start by carving out the middle. But I need to have a footing first. So what I want to do is start and figure out where my footing is going to be. Do you see how I'm just kind of slowly carving away some of this to create where my footing is going to be, okay? But I have to be very steady, and I'm just think of shaving, think of shaving instead of carving if you could, okay? So that gives me the little guideline. So my footing is going to be this little area right here, okay? That's my footing. That's the part that's gonna sit on the table. So now that I have that, I can go in with this bigger, wider area, and I can actually start taking out, shaving out some of the middle. Now, did you see that gouge? That wasn't good on my part. That means if it gouges like that and kind of pulls at you, that means you're pressing down too hard. So that's for sure something you don't want to do. I'm going to use this flat edge now. Okay, I'm just going to try to even it out. Very, very lightly shaving away, little bits at a time is what I'm doing. Okay. And some potters go straight across and make it perfectly flat. Some potters make a little dome in the middle. Just depends on, what you like to do. Now, if the bottom of your pot is too thin, this is where it can get dangerous, and this is where you can accidentally carve right through. You don't want to do that. So I'm just gonna kind of clean it up a little bit more. And then I'm gonna make sure that my footing is nice and flat so I can do this. Remember to hold your elbows in, real steady. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is turn my wheel the other way. I want you to see something. I want you to see, since the camera's on this side, I think you'll be able to see it better. So I'm gonna, kind of slow, there we go, pretty slowly, right? Well, that's a little fast. Let me take it down just a little bit. So I'm going to fix this edge right here. So what I want to do is come in and just carefully fix that edge. It's kind of, if it dries like this, it's going to be really jagged and pointy. I don't want it to cut anybody. So I'm just going to clean it up and round it off a little bit. Okay, and then check my top again. It's a little uneven, so I'm gonna fix that. Okay, still have my rim going pretty good, and then I'm just gonna fix it a little bit. I just want to have a little area that is carved down. Ah, did you see what I did? Not good. Okay, and if that happens, you just clean it up a little bit. So that gouged a little bit, and I just pressed down a little bit too hard right there. Okay, so that's better. That fixed it a little bit. I'm gonna go down a little bit deeper because I made that mistake. And luckily the bottom of my pot is thick enough that I can do this. That's why I like to make them a little thick on the bottom. That way I have room for error, so to speak. What I like to do next, this is pretty good. What I like to do next is take a sponge. Once I get all of that completed, take a sponge, squeeze it out really good, and then clean it up. Just clean it up with a sponge. And I know it's getting it a little bit wet again. That's okay, you know. When you're gonna leave, after you trim this, you're leaving it out, basically. You're gonna leave it out to dry. Yeah, so there we go. So I've got, and then those little teeny tiny little finger marks that I made, I'm just gonna do this. Smooth them out with the wet sponge, okay? Smooth them out with the wet sponge. And then if there's any decoration I wanna do, I could do it now. I could take it off here, I could do it. I could sign my name, you know, on the bottom. I can use these tools if I wanted to make another little pretty design if I wanted. I could see, oh, I see a little mark right here. I'm gonna fix that. If I wanted to do another little design element, like another little line, I could just do this. Okay, so now I have another rim. And if I wanted to, I could make a little decoration and then sign my name down here at the bottom, okay? So I'm finished with my pot. I can take all of this off. Just pull away from you to get it off. Save this in your bag. Obviously, we don't want to waste it. And then I'm going to take my pot off like this. And then if there's any little, pieces of clay or marks or anything on the top here, I can just kind of clean them up a little bit with a sponge like this. Leave it out to dry. Wait till it is bone dry, and then get some of the steel wool or sandpaper, maybe steel wool would probably be best, and clean it up. And then we'll fire it and then glaze it, okay? So that is how you would go about trimming the bottom of a pot, okay? Good luck. I hope you enjoy trimming, and I can't wait to see what your pots look like when you're finished.